Near, near, rip a hole in the sun. Welcome to Cum Paude. Why would you cum soft when you can cum louder? Yeah.
Dun 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 dun. Arrivederci, Kilo Turd is back again with another mini pod. Hey, what's up, everybody? We are officially only a week away from the first games of week one. We made it. We're here. Let's go. Let's get it done. We're going to do a quick mini pod A today and analyze each game of this week, talk about who's going to win. We want to recap a little bit from the last mini pod A where we rolled up the season prediction, regular season standings. We're going to pop that up on the screen, maybe right there, maybe over here or there. I don't know. It's going to pop up so everybody can see what we talked about last time. And let's jump right in. We're going to share the old screen and do a quick week one action here. Bringing it up, we got first game of the week is going to be Judi Dench versus the Big Dak Energy. Let's see what we got here on the board today. Judi Dench currently 114, Big Dak 117. Dak is being favored by, let's give him 3 points. Let's give it 3.5. Actually, no, let's keep it at 3 because it's all decimals and who cares? It's gonna shake out anyway. Dak Prescott versus Aaron Rodgers, both in primetime games, looking like they're about even match here. Buffalo might be, a little bit lighter on the defense, but it's hard to say. We're in New York on both of them, so the field's going to be churned up there for the Jets. So yeah, I like the predictions a little bit less than Dak there. Then we get into the running backs, a little bit of an upper hand for the Dames with Chubby Nick and the J.K. Dobbins. We'll see how that goes. You'll notice that Breece Hall's not in the lineup just yet. He's probably going to have an easy workload in the first couple of weeks with Dalvin Cook doing a little bit more work until Breece is confirmed healthy and recovered from that ACL injury tear last year. So we got Josh Jacobs, which is going to run all day, and Cam Akers, who is hard to say, looked really good towards the end of the season last year, so maybe he keeps that going. Then we got the wide receivers, where, of course, Big Dak Energy just levels the entire league with A.J. Brown, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and then Brandon Ayuk in there. Looking at the flex, we've got Kenny Walker versus Aaron Jones, a little bit of an edge towards Aaron Jones. That might be because, well, shoot, they're both in running back by somewhat committee. Potentially, we'll see what Charbonnet does there in Seattle, but we know Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon just kind of split depending on the feeling of the drive kind of thing. Had to throw in Jahan Dotson here because Jerry Jeudy tweaked his hamstring. All right, Jerry Jeudy getting hurt again. Love it. Hopefully not for too long, but hey, we might not see him in week one. So Jahan's in the lineup right now. Everything else looks pretty solidly matched. Like I said, Breece Hall's on the bench right now. Good, solid projection at 9, but probably not going to start. Maybe we see Cortland Sutton slip in there. Probably not though with the other options that this team has, but Cortland's looking to be the wide receiver 1 there in Denver, especially if Jerry Jeudy can't make it. So we are giving the win to Big Dak Energy on this one with a 3-point spread if any of you are playing spreads at home. Let's move on to the next one. We got Laporta Potty versus Beth's Healthy Twins. This is a close matchup here. Another 3-point spread with Beth's Healthy Twins getting the nod. If you remember from our regular season recap, we had Beth's Healthy Twins going 0-10 until facing off against the Cum Sale. So the prediction by the Kilo Turd is that Beth's Healthy Twins is not going to win this game, but let's just take a look at the comparison here and see if we get some reasoning behind it. So Justin Fields has a super high ceiling potential going against Green Bay. A little bit of like a big revenge match here in Chicago. No Aaron Rodgers. Chicago just wants to trounce them. I'd say Justin Fields probably goes out and scores 5 touchdowns rushing and probably 300 yards rushing as well. But Kirk Cousins is going to throw all day as well at home in the Dome. So that's a good matchup to watch. Then we look at the running backs with these teams. Joe Mixon is clearly the stud out of these two groups here, only projected for about 12 points at Cleveland. Cleveland's got that great front defensive line, so that's understood there. And then we've got Cordero Patterson, who's now 3rd on the depth chart, and Atlanta is surprised even getting 5 points here. So probably just, some pass catching, maybe some weird formations, get some action going there. Looking at the healthy Twins, Charbonnet, good projection there. Kenneth Walker had 11, I think. So for both of their running backs with a good passing attack to get double digits is pretty solid. So I think you're going to see one of them carry versus the other. So who knows which one we'll get. And then Rashad White, great trade. Rashad should just be the big time back there in Tampa Bay. So should get some solid production there. Dropping on down to the wide receivers. Jamar Chase and Garrett Wilson, what a great 1-2 punch. I think that's what wins it this week for Laporta Potties. Just really should be solid output projected right now for 17 and 12. 30 points coming in for that team. I think they might even put up 40. We'll see how that goes. Jalen Waddle and Trey Burks. Trey Burks has so much potential. DeAndre Hopkins now in there to crowd up some of the receptions, but maybe give Burks a little bit of breathing room from coverage. And Jalen Waddle there with Tyreek Hill. We'll see how that goes. We'll see how Tua can play. Tua is probably going to be concussed on the first snap, so it's hard to say with that. But Waddle's got so much more upside than a 10.5 rating here. But I think overall you got Jamar Chase and Garrett Wilson just pummeling here. Tight end battle clearly won by Beth's Healthy Twins with Mark Andrews. Got a questionable mark there, but he'll play if he doesn't get arrested for just like breaking people's bones and trash talking and stuff like that. But Mark Andrews is going to win that battle. Then we got Jackson Smith, a pretty low ranking here. A rookie but a stud. Got behind Metcalf and Lockett, but I think he's going to get more than 5 points here. Quentin Johnson, another rookie stud out there in LA, another third wide receiver on the team. 7.8. I feel like that's would be better for Jackson Smith, would be more in the 7 to 8 range. And then the final flex, these teams they don't have a lot going on in the final flex area with Jacoby Myers and Rosie Palmer to bring in 5 and 6 points respectively. Buffalo against the Jets, Jacksonville against Indy. I think Jacksonville scores. Jacksonville's D probably scores 2 touchdowns on Anthony Richardson, throwing 2 pick sixes with his first 2 NFL official throws of the game. They're going to be touchdowns, but they're going to be defensive pick sixes for Anthony Richardson. That stud that he is. He'll probably run for 4 touchdowns as well, but definitely going to throw 2 pick sixes in that game, which should give the edge to Beth's Healthy Twins. But let's go back to what we originally said. Laporta Potty is going to get a slight upset here with the 3-point spread and take the victory. Moving right along, keeping this going during the work hours, we got Hammy Time versus Lordy Taint Party. If you remember, Lordy Taint Party, somebody we projected, I think, to go 6-0 out of the gate, so we know who we think is going to win there by the kilo turds. But let's take a closer look. It's a close matchup. It's within 1 point. So Josh Allen versus Geno Smith. You give the nod to Josh. Then we get into the running backs, which is clearly going to lean towards Taint Party here with Eckler and the big trade for Pollard, 2 top 10 running backs, arguably top 5 running backs there. DeAndre Swift, hard to say what that backfield is going to look like in Philly with 3 really strong running backs going into there. So it could be a committee. And Antonio Gibson, that's a really high projection, but going against the Cardinals, so you never know. And we're probably going to see Brian Robinson down here, I guess. Yeah, we're going all in on the Washington backfield. We'd expect no less from Hammy Time. Bringing it, you just play the players that you have, get into those flex spots. Let's look at the wide receivers here. Stephon Diggs and Mike Williams, that's solid 1-2 punch. And Devontae Adams, Chris Olave, solider 1-2 punch going there. Continuing the nod to the taint. Love the taint here. Then we go into the tight ends. I am interested to see what Buffalo's tight end situation looks like after the draft of Dalton Kincaid with Dawson Knox here as well. 2 DKs. Wow, that's pretty cool. That was planned for sure. But got the hookup with Josh Allen, so that's always nice to have. Greg Dulcich, talented. We'll see what happens. Russ Wilson, we'll see what happens. That's just kind of the hand that is dealt right now. I will say, I bet you the taint is probably still shopping tight ends after missing out on Okonkwo. Okonkwo's is what he's living through right now. Tyler Lockett and Christian Watson. Christian Watson is just getting hyped up like crazy. Should be the man this year with Jordan Love out there. We'll see. This will be a good test in Chicago. That battle we talked about before. Chicago really wants to get this win. Serviceable, probably about dead even there with Tyler Lockett, and then Jamal Williams in New Orleans. Kinder Miller just popped up with a little bit of an injury, and we know that Alvin Kamara is sidelined, so Jamal should get some lion's share going into that. Probably get those snipey touchdowns that he was used to getting in Detroit. So I think a little bit of a better projection there. And then, defense. Washington's a solid defense going against a terrible Cardinals. And then San Fran going at Pittsburgh. San Fran's probably the best defense in the league, but going at Pittsburgh another year under Kenny Pickett's belt. Najee Harris, healthy Pickens, a lot of weapons there to control. That might just be a downright low-scoring matchup there. But giving the nod to the taint party, as we mentioned before, let's keep on moving to Team Scooter Top G, the top dog from the regular season predictions, going against All Hail ESPN, the Mahomes Cup duo. Can Mahomes and Cup score 150 points by themselves? They might some week, and that could get you some victories, but not a lot of supporting cast around that. So Pat Mahomes and Lamar Jackson, close in scoring. They could potentially negate scores here going against Detroit, who's a stronger defense than Houston. We'll see if Lamar can bounce back. David Montgomery going to Detroit with Jahmyr Gibbs. Detroit, you saw last year, even with DeAndre Swift, Jamal Williams got those kinds of touchdowns. So this might be a case where David Montgomery is just vulturing some touchdowns here. And Khalil Herbert, should be the lead back there in Chicago, going to be battling with Devonta Foreman, who I think has a little bit of an injury, but strong running back there. Not as strong as a Saquon and James Conner duo. Looking to see Conner have a good, strong bounce back year with a putrid offense, but should get a lot of touches, knowing the quarterback situation there. Wide receivers, CD versus Cup. Cup just tweaked his hamstring again, so keeping an eye on that. He'll probably start. He'll probably play, but CD is going to definitely get the action. Devonta Smith versus Brandon Cooks. Cooks is up in the air. This was a fun trade. Was it last year, 2 years ago, with the DeAndre Hopkins and Brandon Cooks? So let's hope Brandon Cooks bounces back and get some value to that trade. Darren Waller should be in a really good spot this year with Danny Jones getting out of Las Vegas, and hopefully stays healthy for the top G. That's going to be a big edge, having another solid tight end out there. Here's DeAndre Hopkins going against Adam Thielen. I think Thielen's getting ranked a little low because he's got a rookie quarterback untested, and Carolina might put up 50 points all year. So we'll see how that goes. And then James Cook versus Devin Singletary. Singletary going to Houston. He's going to be playing backup fiddle just like David Montgomery is, but maybe get some of those vulture touchdowns. And then James Cook is looking to be the dude this year. Really high on this. It was a great draft pick by Scooter last year. He was patient, waited for it, and Buffalo cleared out the running space for him. Now there is a lot of people behind Cook, but I think Cook is the clear back here, and I just the depth all around, going with solid running back, solid receivers, and then throwing Hopkins and Cook as your flexes makes you pretty tough to beat this year. So Scooter Top G coming out, getting that first win out of the gate. We drop on down to the Sons of Minnesota and the tight end girls. Tight end guys is what Brian likes. And we see a 121 to 100, pretty clear cut by Sleeper who's going to win this one. Question mark, is Russell Wilson back? Let's find out. That's going to be a big decider. We look at the running back situation, made the big trade for Pacheco. And Pacheco runs hard. He runs angry, but he's in that KC offense where you just don't know what's going to happen. All you know is that Mahomes is going to score a lot of points for you, and Kelsey's going to score a lot of points for you, but it's hit or miss which running back gets into the action. They seem to like Pacheco, but you still got CEH hanging out there, and it's Andy Reid's call. And then Dalvin Cook should get some heavier touches here earlier in the season, so should have a solid game there Monday night going against Buffalo with Brees Hall still being eased into the offense. But you're going against Najee Harris, who's going against a stout San Francisco defense, and then Alexander Mattinson, who Minnesota's guy now. We'll see how that goes. There's a lot of running backs behind him, so it could be committee action. But I know the owner is very high on Madison. He's very high on any Viking, really very high on all of his players, and will sell any of his players for a very high value. Let's dive into what is winning this matchup for the Sons of Minnesota. It is Justin Jefferson, Tyreek Hill, and TJ Hawkins' son. TJ just signed a big deal and looked really strong towards the end of the season. But how are you going to compete against Justin Jefferson and Tyreek Hill? Looking for 32 points between the two. They're definitely going to be putting up the numbers. Going against Keenan Allen and Christian Kirk. Christian Kirk got some competition there in Jacksonville with Calvin Ridley being added in. So that might drop his value a little bit. And Keenan Allen's just got to stay healthy. He's getting older. That's really what you got to keep your eyes on. But again, it's just no matchup for the Sons of Minnesota. Gabe Davis and George Pickens. I give the nod here to George Pickens, actually. Gabe Davis, as it says in his nickname, Gabe Ruth, the home run hitter. You're either getting home runs or you are getting strikeouts looking. Gabe Davis is one of those guys that is streaky, and you're either going to get 3 touchdowns in that game or you are getting 1 catch for 7 yards. So I give the nod to George Pickens on that one. But then we drop down to Javonte Fanta. Javonte Williams, coming back from a knee injury as well, is going to see if he's is what he is. And if he is what he is going to make this team pretty tough to beat any week in that flex spot. Going against Jordan Addison, speedy as hell. Going to be going alongside Justin Jefferson, so should get some opportunities there. I like the pickup. I like the play. And then we got Pittsburgh against San Francisco. Pittsburgh's a really strong defense, but San Francisco's a really powerful offense as well. So might be a little mixed bag there. I think we called out last that this could end up just being a weirdly low scoring game, even though it's got really strong offense and 2 really strong defenses. And then we're going Brown Town against Cincinnati. Tough matchup for that one against Joseph Burrows and the Jamar Chase factory. So that's a tough matchup for both of the defense, kind of washes out. So we're giving this one, as Sleeper projects, to the Sons of Minnesota. If anybody's betting on this with a 21-point spread, I don't know. I'd say my typical co-host here would definitely take the points and run with that one. Sons of Minnesota gets the win. Let's keep on going. We're getting there. We're getting there. 2 more games to review. Try and keep it tight, keep it quick. I think we're under 30 with the last mini Paude. I don't know. Could be a close matchup. Last year's champion, the Pubic Medusas, going against last year's Turd Factory. Come sail away. Couldn't come up with anything better. Almost froze there, but we're live, and we just we can't do that to the production. The Come Sail projected for 87 points. Pretty solid, but 30-point underdog here. He's betting on himself. We'll go through it. Jalen Hurts, Christian McCaffrey, Derrick Henry. Enough said. That's what the champion brings. That's what the champion brought. Going against Desmond Ridder, Bijan Mustardson, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, just trying to get starting people out there. I agree. CEH, more like meh. Mustardson, let's see how he kicks off. 14 points out of the gate for the first career game. I like it. Amari Cooper and Mike Evans, 2 old dudes that just catch balls and catch touchdowns. Some modest projections there, probably equated to their age. Amari's not really that old. Mike Evans is getting up there, but Deshaun Watson there in Cleveland, so should change the outlook for Amari. The other side, we're looking at DJ Moore and Michael Thomas. DJ Moore in a new home with a quarterback that does not know how to throw the football, but still a solid receiver, young talent, somebody that might be trade bait eventually. But if you see the Come Sale is developing the team around DJ Moore and starting to make things happen with probably 3 more first round picks next year, maybe 2025 is where this Come Sale starts to get more than 2 wins in a season. Michael Thomas can never have enough first names, is looking for the comeback, and I hope it happens for him and for the Come Sale, that's for sure. Going up there with Chris Olave and getting Derek Carr in there, it's just, can this person stay healthy? If so, pretty good upside. But then you go for that the 4th head of the Medusa is Travis Kelce, and it's just, I think only 4 heads is needed, 4 snakeheads that is, to freeze you to stone, with Kelce being predicted for 15 points. Then you got this is where you start to see the depth of the come sale with Oscar Mayer Wiener at tight end, getting the starting job. Jaden Reed, who is now third on that depth chart with a fresh start quarterback journey, that been in the wings. Green Bay knows how to cook him up, so should be all right there. But still, third wide receiver, unproven rookie. Tyler Algier was looking like he's going to be super solid, but then Mustardson gets drafted, so you'll probably see some spell time there and get some get a little bit of yardage, maybe some receptions, and yeah, kickers and defenses. Kickers and defenses. That's where you win ball games. Excited to see. Oh, that's right. Oh, the Rams finally sound Brett Maher, and we got a 0 projection, but I'd say that changes. Come to game time. But definitely look for Medusas. Keep an eye on that, because you don't want somebody not started in your lineup when, if you recall, $50 goes to the weekly winner. So you try to win every week. Put your best team out there every single time. As everybody could imagine, the former champion, last year's champ, Pubic Medusas, takes this one against the Cum Sale. We got one more game to look at, and then we'll wrap this up. We got John Wilkes Tooth going against the Hot July Pies. Hot July Pies getting a 10-point nod. Hot July, if you saw that graphic at the beginning, they are looking to be one of the top teams of the league. They have a little bit of a tough stretch in the beginning of the season, but they are coming out with week 1 with a victory. Justin Herbert versus Joe Burrow. I think they're the same exact player. And then we look at the running backs here: Ramondre 3000, Travis Etienne, 2 young dudes getting the starting jobs on their team. Etienne's got a little bit of competition. Ramondre's got Ezekiel, unfortunately, probably going to vulture some touchdowns with that big belly, just acting like a fullback in there nowadays. But he'll get the lion's share, get the yards, and get the points that way. Damian Harris is buried in a Buffalo backfield. It's going to be led by James Cook. Miles Sanders is getting a fresh start. He's going to be the dude in Carolina, but I don't know if that offense can really fire too much up to support Miles Sanders there, to not just get 8 in the box every single time. And then we get into the wide receivers. We got T. Higgins and Drake London. T. Higgins playing second fiddle to the Jamar Chase situation, but that gives him a lot of opportunities due to coverage. Drake London looking for a second-year action, got Desmond Ridder throwing to him, so it's hard to say. And then you just double it up here with Atlanta receivers with Kyle Pitts at tight end. Come on, Kyle Pitts. Come on. Don't hurt us too much more. Just what a breakout rookie year, and then falling flat here as of recent. So hoping for a comeback there for the K Doge. And then on the other side, Calvin Ridley finally back. I know a lot of teams tried to trade for Calvin Ridley over the last 2 years, and the Wilkes Tooth just said nope. I'm waiting. I'm going to be patient. This is the comeback story. So if Ridley gets a full season, he's looking quick in practice, should have a good year and help this team out. Cletus Godwin in Tampa Bay. Had some injury issues from time to time. Looks like it's healthy now, sharing the field with Mike Evans. That's never hurt his stock, but what might hurt his stock is Baker Mayfield or Kyle Trask. We got Baker Mayfield doing the first bit of the start. I'd say they probably run the ball a lot, and it's just dependent on that quarterback situation. Really solid, talented wide receiver, but will he get good passes? I don't think so. George Kittle over the middle. I think any San Francisco player at this point is hit and miss. Unfortunately, they're all super talented, but they're all on the same team. So Christian McCaffrey's going to get the touches, but then you're competing with Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, and George Kittle for anything else. And Kyle Shanahan likes to shake things up even more, so you get to see people like Jawan Jennings catching the touchdowns, which is really fun for any people owning any of those other players I just named. Then we go to the flex. Odell Beckham Jr. I'd like to see a big year. I think most of us want to see a big year out of OBJ coming back in there. But it's the Baltimore Ravens receiving core who never really seems to do much beyond Mark Andrews. So it could be a different guy every single week. And then Jahmyr Gibbs, what a draft pick. That's a great flex play. We'll see what that share looks like with David Montgomery in Detroit, but it's looking really good. People are saying he is the most talented mixed with smartest football IQ kind of player out there. So let's see if that pays off against Kansas City. And going into the Washington flex out here, scary Terry McLaurin against Cletus CJ Samuel. Given McLaurin, who should be the number one guy there, but he's got a little bit of an injury coming into that game. So going back to it, there's a 10-point spread. I think we're looking at the Hot July Pies with a pretty easy victory here, mainly because we've got running back depth, we've got wide receiver depth, and sadly, John Wilkes-Tooth has to sit on Jonathan Taylor Thomas, which is why you see the running backs where they were before. I did not catch that during my regular season standing ranking, so for John Wilkes, I'm still ranking you the same way I did. I think with matchups, even when Jonathan Taylor gets healthy, I think it's going to shake out the way it is. You'll have a kind of middling season just because some of the other depth that isn't there. But when Jonathan Taylor does come back, we will see some improvements with the projections and potential maybe more wins. But we give this one to the Hot July Pies. So that is our recap. And what we are going to end this with is you will see the graphics of the week one. Where's the finger? Week one shakeout with who's getting their first win of the game, starting the season 1-0. Here's another look at our regular season standings projections. And hey, quick shout out to everybody that this is the final week going into the frozen waivers. So Wednesday of next week, we'll run waivers, and then free agency truly opens up after the Wednesday Fab waivers run. So it will be standard throughout the rest of the season where players can be picked up after the waivers run, and thereafter, after the games kind of start going on Thursday, they'll lock again after Monday Night Football for another waiver to run Wednesday. It's just going to be normal again. Some things to look out for this season: we did change kicker scoring. You are now getting 0.1 points per field goal yard. What's going to look different there if everything goes as Sleeper says it should is that a 17-yard field goal is only going to be worth 1.7 points. We can talk about whether we like that or not, or if we should do anything under 30 still gets a 3-pointer. But that also means that a 47-yarder is worth 4.7, a 69-yarder is worth 6.9. So a little bit of a change for our kickers' values. Another little shakeup that will definitely help us avoid any ties, because who likes ties in fantasy football? But yeah, it's going to be a cool thing to keep an eye on. We added an extra flex, should be higher scoring this year in all. And hey, good luck to everybody going into week one. So glad it's finally here. Keep an eye on any last minute moves by the NFL teams out here as they're trying to sign Kareem Hunt, maybe. Come on, somebody, anybody. Yeah, let's do this. Let's get it going again. Thursday Night Football coming up in less than 1 week. Well, say goodnight, Fermi. Good night, Fermi.
Thank you for listening to the official podcast of the Public Honors College Fantasy Football League. Cum quickly, cum often, and cum loud.